Hi folks, welcome back to the channel. Thank you very much for joining me once again. You are always most welcome. Well, today it's Matchbox March and I'm back with another Matchbox kit to review that I've never seen before. So, it is the Blue Angels US Navy display team, but it's the F9 Panther. And these of course were basically sort of coming into the US Navy around the time of the Korean War. Don't we get it right on the side or not? We probably do inside. Now this is actually dated 83, so it's one of the later, this is actually around the time Matchbox really ceased to exist as they were. And in fact it's got the Chinese right on the side, which tells you that it wasn't Lesney, but anyway. These were a naval strike aircraft based on aircraft carriers in the US Navy. And to prove the point, we've got here two versions. We've got the US Navy Blue Angels display team, 51 to 53, and also we've got the Marine Corps at Cherry Point, USA, 1954. And it looks like it comes with some weapons. So this is not a kit I've seen before. Really looking forward to it. It's the special display team edition. Let's have a look at a Matchbox that I've not seen before. So try to find the weakest end. It's always the best way to do these things. It's very easy to damage the box if you're not sure what you're doing, actually. So let us see what we have. Blue Angels. Now then, let's hope we get a bit of a write-up. Yes, we do. It's one of the things that was always great about them. So it says, this is PK-124, and it says, toward the end of World War II, the US Navy had produced outline requirements for 2 jet-powered night fighters, and Grumman proposed a complex aircraft with 4 Westinghouse engines, rated at 1,500 pounds of thrust each. The aircraft was ordered as a Model G75, the designation XF9F1. In April 46, just after the end of the war, of course, a year after, this project was cancelled, however. In the October of that year, of the same year, during 1946, Grumman had continued to discuss a proposal with the Navy of the Model 79D, which was powered by a Rolls-Royce Neen engine. Now this is the Neen engine that was famously being used in the Meteor, and of course was copied, reverse engineered by the Soviets for their MiG-15s, of course. There were all sorts of stories that I heard from my father, who worked in the aircraft industry. One of the stories he was told by someone who claims he was there at the time was that not only were the Russians given the designs, basically, of this aircraft, but they were also allowed to wander around in Derby in the plant where they were actually machining the turbine blades, because the Russians at the time couldn't get the metallurgy correct on the blades, and they kept shearing blades and melting all sorts. And the story goes, and I don't know how true it is, but the story I was told is that there was Russian spies came, and they claim that they believe later that they had special shoes that had almost like plasticine in the soles, and they were going around and deliberately treading hard with the heel of their shoes on the swarf next to the lathes where the blades are being turned, and they were picking up samples of the actual metal so they could analyse them back at base in Moscow. I don't know if it's true or not, but that was certainly a widespread belief at the time. So they had the design of it, and they had the actual means then to copy the metal grade of metal. Not clever. Not Britain's finest hour in there, you know. I know it annoyed a lot of the Americans at the time. I can kind of understand that actually, but anyway. We move on. So the Neen engine was selected for the work, and a contract was finally placed for this aircraft. A complete mock-up was ready in January 1947. The Neen was to be produced under licence, but an alternative engine, the Allison J33, was also considered as a backup. After considerable development and more powerful engines including more powerful engines and an increase in the fuselage length, the 4 to 5 variants were produced. The 5 starting deliveries in 1950. Panthers of various marks were used extensively throughout the Korean War, primarily as fighter bombers. Despite being the first jet aircraft to be used operationally, the machines were still in service in late 1957, 10 years later. Panthers were also a great success in the Blue Angels display aerobatic team until 1954. A total of 1,385 Panther variants were produced. Wow, there you go. There you go. Whoa! Now then, we have got some Matchbox decals, old Matchbox decals. Be afraid, they're normally not too good. Don't expect too much of these. Let's have a look at them. So, here we go. They look alright, don't they? They haven't discoloured terribly or anything, but then these are relatively late ones at 83, but they might still work, you never know. They might still work. We have our little typical Matchbox easy paint guide. Although they simplified it further after the Lesney era, because they used to have quite a bit in-depth one which show lots of parts. Painting your pilot, painting your cockpit, your instruments, wheels, weapons, and then your general paint guide is here. You've got a decal guide there, and then we've gone vertical, have we? Okay, this is some of this later style of Matchbox instructions. They went to portrait mode instead of landscape mode. So here we go. We're putting our pilot in his seat. Very rudimentary stuff. Control stick, and then they split the fuselage top and bottom, which is unusual for Matchbox. They're revising your 20 grams of nose weight. And then over here we've got the tails and tailplanes going in as a separate section. We've got our fuselage coming together with the tailplane, and then the canopy going on the top. Gear going in. Top, very conventional top and bottom wing assembly being brought in. Then you've got your intakes separately there. And you've got the alternative option, if you wish, to have the wings folded for a carrier use, which is quite interesting. Excuse me. Over here we've got the rest of the hook and all the gear going in, and then for the version that's going to Korea, we've got all the rockets and bombs options, which look quite cool, I've got to say. That looks very interesting. So there we have it. That's our instructions for our Grumman Prowler. Panther, sorry. I fell into the trap there, didn't I? And we've got 1, 2, 3 colours, starting with our fuselage. And we've got recess panel lines, and yeah, interesting colour. It's like a mauvey blue. Quite an interesting colour. Very subtle panel lines, I've got to say. Well, almost too subtle. Yeah, I mean they were yeah, okay. They were, as you can see, quite prone to sink marks on Matchbox. Can you see that? Now, whether that was to do with the colouring making it worse, don't know. The pigmentation might have affected the way that the moulds, the plastic sets, you know. Could be something else to do with the process. But there's your tails. Then we've got our very attractive blue. They've actually used the same colours here as they used in the Buccaneer, I think. Same blues. Very attractive wings with the tanks on the end. Tailplanes. And what you notice, going back to what I said recently about the Airfix Bloodhound, complete absence of any flash. Yeah. Yes, you can see it on the actual frame, but not on the parts. Very, very clean indeed. All go together really nicely. And you've got a whole load of holes. You'll just need to drill those out when you've got holes for the weapons. Then we have our weapon sprue. Let's zoom in on this a bit closer. Really nice rockets, air to ground rockets, what look like £500 or £300 bombs, and then you've got your things like your cockpit, kind of rudimentary switchgear in it, but actually by Matchbox standards that's quite decent. Instrumentation here. Yeah, pilot. See, we get a pilot with Matchbox. One of the things I liked about them as well. There he is. Our pilot. Got your gear wheels, and you got all your little pylons then for your weapons. Arrestor hook, tail wheel. Sorry, that's the nose wheel in fact, isn't it? Nose wheel, beg your pardon, because it's a tricycle undercarriage. So there we go, and all that leaves us to look at really is the canopy, which is a bit dusty actually. It's just give that the old dusty treatment. Dusty. Make a great housewife, wouldn't I? Now then, does that look clear? It's not bad, is it, really? For its era. Obviously not the best we've ever seen. It's got a bit of a burr on the inside, can you see that? A nasty burr there. And there you have it, really. So, marks out of 10 for this one. Well, again, we have to factor in its age, very much so, and what these things cost. So don't compare this with the modern rating of a modern kit, because it's not comparable. We're not comparing apples with apples. Just ignore the rating relative to modern kits. We're talking back in the day rating, okay? I think I'm going to give it 9 out of 10. I like the colours, very bright. Instructions are fairly clear. A bit of info about the history. Good colour call-outs. Yeah, and you've got good clarity about the options on the back. Yeah, I don't like it as much as the early Lesney iterations. I preferred their boxing. I preferred the box, as in the window box. Plus, I preferred the way that they decorated the box with adverts for other products as well. But I think 9 out of 10 for its era. And by the way, I forgot to put his decals back, which won't get me any friends. I can tell you. Let's pop that gently in there. 9 out of 10. Time corrected back to 1972, 83 in this case. I think that's a fair score. You know, this would only cost about 75p at the time, and frankly, worth every penny. So, yeah, very nice indeed. 9 out of 10. Well done, Matchbox, you're back. And there'll be more. I hope you'll give me 10 out of 10 though. With a thumbs up. Give us a like. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to ding the notification bell. And tick the all option. And I hope you'll stay well, stay safe. And until next time, when there'll be another interesting one like this for you to see. Maybe a bit more nostalgia to remember. Our earlier days by. In the meantime, look after yourself, stay well, stay safe. I look forward to seeing you in the very near future. In the meantime, thanks for your time. Thanks a lot, and bye for now.